Katie, if you can bring Miss Carmel up to the mic, I think she's got a few things to say.
I love it. And I can't wait to learn more about your amazing bike riding fun things that you do. Do you even call it bike riding? That sounds so like third grade.
Yeah, well, I call it mountain biking, but there's also gravel biking and cyclocross, and like there's any kind of biking you can imagine, there's a style for it. So, but bike
Okay, good.
riding encompasses it all.
I love it. I love it. The gravel biking, I get it. 2 years ago, totally tore my knee up. So yeah, I haven't done that in a while, but that's okay. All right, let me introduce you and we did get to hear from you. Now let everybody get to know who you really are. The topic you're going to be speaking on today is how to stop being so busy and get the important stuff done. Very helpful. Let's see. Mental fitness. You're a mental fitness coach, a recovering busy person who isn't one of those, and a multi-passionate business owner. I can't wait to hear about you and what you do. Something we don't know about you. I love this. This is like those unique things is you're learning to play the ukulele. Maybe you can pull that out and play a little for us.
I should have actually, I forgot I wrote that in there, and I should have grabbed it and tuned it and had it ready to go.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing that I thought was really interesting is your favorite music that you're listening to right now. This is very interesting, and I was looking them up online, and I was like, oh, I'm going to have to check these guys out. It's a German marching band, which you might think, really? And I'm thinking I'm pronouncing it Moite. Is that
Moite. Moite.
Moite? Moite. Yeah. That's hard for my tongue, but yes, I love it. So everyone should go check that out too, because it could help us get things done. You have a gift for everyone. It's a 45-minute saboteur assessment review. So you can share the link for that. And then the one lucky person is going to get a gift, which is a saboteur assessment review plus 3 coaching sections focused on minimizing your top saboteur's negative impact in your life so you can make progress on what's important. That's a $700 value someone's going to get. Like Deb said, we have some amazing gifts. So this is exciting. I can't wait to hear from you. So Carmel, take it away.
Okay, thank you so much, Katie. I'm excited to be here and be speaking about mental fitness. If you've been to these summits before, you've heard me talk a little bit about mental fitness, and I always try to bring something a little bit different because I know we get a lot of some of the same people show up every time, which I love because this is such an amazing community. People just keep showing up for each other, and it's just absolutely amazing. But yes, we're going to talk about the B word today. Busy. So I know you were probably thinking of something else. So if you were here this morning, you would have heard Deb and Katie actually talk briefly about this. And I think Deb admonished you a little bit, Katie, for that. You're not allowed to say that word. You're abundant. And at some point, the word busy just became a bad word. It became something that you weren't supposed to say, even if you were, in fact, busy. And I totally get it, because most of the time you ask someone how they're doing and their answer is busy, they say it like this: oh, I'm so busy. You see the exhaustion, you see their face drop, their body slumps, their voice drops. I'm so busy. And they most often launch into this litany of reasons why they're so busy. Oh, I've got this and I've got that and da da da, and I'm doing this for so and so, and I have to do this because, just because. And that kind of busy really sucks. That is a case for banishing the word busy. But there's another kind of busy, and it's the kind that has meaning and purpose. And it's filled with activities that light you up. And when someone asks a person who's busy with those kinds of things how they're doing, when they start listing things off, they sound excited. They sound lit up. They sound like, oh my God, let me tell you. It's a totally different energy. And that's the kind of busy that I strive to be. Because I do like to be busy. Admittedly, I'm a bit of a fidgety person. I have a hard time sitting still, which is maybe why I ride bikes so much. I do like being busy, but only when that busy is purposeful and filled with joy for me. And I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to suggest that all you superstars in this room right now would totally sign up for that kind of busy in a heartbeat if you haven't already. So the next question is how? How do we get there? How do we shed all of the shoulds and the have-tos and the guilt-ridden yeses that have us staying way too busy with, pardon my French, the shit that doesn't matter? Right? All those things that you've said yes to that you kind of went, oh, okay, I guess I'll do that. We want to try and cut those out. And you don't need productivity hacks. You don't need to be more efficient. And even though, yes, it's helpful, you don't need to master AI so that you can fit more in your day. You need to have a calm, conscious, clear-headed conversation with yourself instead of chatting with the itty-bitty shitty committee that's in your head that so often drowns out the voice of your wise inner self. Now, you might ask, what is the itty-bitty shitty committee, Carmel? If the name doesn't imply it, it's the voices in your head that are telling you things that are not particularly helpful. Now, here's the kicker. They are actually trying to be helpful. They're trying to help you safely exist within the constraints that you perceive, whether they are real or imagined, in the society, in the situation that you exist. So that can look like needing to be a high achiever to prove your value, right? You're always striving for the next big thing, even if it's not what you really want, right? Looking to get that next promotion. I had one client who said, I don't know that my dream when I was a kid was to be in middle management, right? And when she's talking about her aspirations and trying to figure out, well, what is the next career step for me? What do I really want? Maybe the thing that you're filling your time with is low value tasks that you're really good at because you're actually avoiding the more challenging ones that you aspire to. Right? What if I fail? Deb talks about this, that stretch of significance. That stretch of significance can be full of fear. It can scare you. And so you just avoid it, right? That's that safety, right? Trying to keep your ego intact. Maybe you jump from task to task because you aren't clear on your priorities and you just need to be busy with something so that you feel productive. That's another good one, right? Oh, but I'm so busy, so I must be moving forward. But what often happens in those situations is that you're just spinning your wheels, and the bike isn't taking you anywhere. You're like on a trainer. It can look like saying yes to way too many things because you're afraid of other people being unhappy or disappointed with you. And if you were here again this morning, Renee Peterson talked about this in the Rising Constellation panel. She talked about serving her family and her community. And she said something I had to write it down because it was so powerful. I thought if I kept doing everything right, I would feel like enough. I don't know if that hit anybody else, but that hit me, right? That little voice in your head that's drowning out the real you, saying, but if you just, then you'll get that feeling that you're chasing. But it's not something you can chase down and tackle and get to by doing things that other people want. So that's kind of what the itty bitty shitty committee sort of looks like or sounds like, I guess. The next thing you need to know is, how do I know when that committee is running the show? And this is a really wonderfully simple question to answer. If the conversation in your head comes with negative emotions, so maybe resentment, sadness, exhaustion, or feeling tired, you feel discombobulated, or I just threw that one in there because I really like the word discombobulated. It's a real word and it makes sense, but or overwhelmed, for more than a second, you are being hijacked. More than a second of that negative emotion, and you have been hijacked. You are not in control of the conversation that's happening in your mind. And I do want to make an important distinction that this is not the same as feeling out of your comfort zone, right? Again, the one that Deb calls the stretch of significance. That's very different. That has a feeling of like nervous excitement, and it can easily be interpreted as negative, like, oh, I'm feeling anxious because I'm going to speak on the stage, and what if I screw up and forget what I'm going to say, or right? That's not the same kind of negativity. It's like an actual, like you can actually feel your physical energy just kind of when your itty bitty shitty committee is in charge. So what can you do to flip the switch to a more calm, clear-headed conversation with yourself, as opposed to all these other characters that have, kind of stuck onto you over the years? So the first thing we want to do is catch them in the act. We simply want to notice what you're feeling, like, ooh, that doesn't feel good. My automatic yes to that person's request doesn't feel good. And recognize that what's just happened has put you into a negative emotional state, right? Super simple. And this is an absolutely brilliant signal, right? All you got to do is notice, I don't feel good about that. There's something to pay attention to here, right? Just like the pain that you would feel if you put your hand on a hot stove on an element, right? You would pull your hand right away and go, whoa, that's not good. You wouldn't leave it on there and kind of like go, interesting, it's burning and it's getting hotter, and you wouldn't do that. You'd like notice it and pull your hand away. So that just tells you that there's something there to pay attention to. The next thing you're going to do is take a mindful moment so that you can turn down the volume on this negative conversation, right? And we'll go through an example of that right now. So sitting or standing, whatever you want, just kind of get comfortable. And then, yeah, shake it out. I see you, Katie. And then I just want you to rub 2 fingers together. And I want you to put all your attention on this. Okay? You're just feeling the sensation of your 2 fingers, feeling of the skin, the fingertip ridges touching one another. Nothing else matters in this moment but that. We're going to do that for just a few seconds. Okay, now if that's what you were paying attention to, what did you notice? You probably didn't notice anything else, because we can only think one thought at a time. So if you had a bunch of chatter going on in your head and you stop, and this is one of a multiple ways that you can have a mindful moment, and you stop and you go, oh, I'm just gonna focus on this for a minute. It stops the conversation dead. You can't even remember the thoughts that you had before that. Well, you can go back to them. And the longer you do this exercise, the more distant that conversation becomes, and it allows you to disengage from that brain activity. And it gives you an opportunity to put a pause in and go, oh, okay, you know what? Like I'm safe in this moment. Everything's fine in this moment. What do I really want right now? And I know it's really interesting. It's felt like the theme today. Not everyone's talked about, but there have been a number of speakers today that have talked about this, like that taking a moment and giving yourself permission to really think about, what do I really want in this moment? So this is one way that you can stop and then create the space so that you actually can redirect your brain to something different. That request has been made. What do I really want? Instead of that, if you're anything like me, I'm a people pleaser. I'm a recovering people pleaser. Instead of the automatic yes, saying, oh, I'll think about it. Or, oh no, I'm sorry, but I just don't have time. Or simply, nope, can't do it, don't want to do it, or no. And I actually, this practice actually works in a number of applications. It's not just, so that you can stop saying yes to things, but I use it in mountain biking all the time. See, Katie, I'm going to talk about mountain biking. And it's been a really great lesson in particular in fear management. Because when I'm mountain biking, I have to be in control of my mind. There's nothing that makes sense about hurling yourself down a mountain. Absolutely nothing. But it's really fun. So I keep doing it. And it's also a bit of a meditation for me, which is kind of cool, right? Like if I'm really having a day where there's just lots going on, there's too many things, and I'm feeling a bit scattered and restless, I'll actually go for a ride. If I have the space, and I try to create the space every day, I'll go for a ride. And it completely separates me from, the things that I've been stressing about. And it allows me, my subconscious mind, to kind of process some of the stuff. And I always find that when I come back to my task, I'm just a little clearer. I can kind of look at, it's a little bit like sleeping on it, but faster. So with your brain and your body in a calm state, you can really reconsider any option that's in front of you and decide what it is that you really want to do. This is when we can ask ourselves questions like, what do I really want in this situation? Does this opportunity align with my current goals or values? Do I really have time for this? And does this matter enough to make time in my schedule for it? And I don't know if you guys can see my little chalkboard in the back. I wrote this, what is your time worth? And then, no, what is worth your time? And then my son decided it had to be redesigned. So he took the time to rewrite it and put a little clock in there. So he's my little artist. Yeah, so when you engage in this practice, you can really alleviate yourself of so many of the joyless, unfulfilling, busy work that fills so much of our time, because we simply don't give ourselves permission to stop listening to, I'll just call it the committee. I should probably stop swearing at this point. This is going on TV. We can stop listening to the committee and start listening to ourselves. Because one really important distinction is that we think that these voices that are telling us we should are us, but they're not. They're actually coping mechanisms, success mechanisms, survival mechanisms that we built up over a lifetime, most of them during childhood. And then they became ingrained in us. And we made them part of who we are. We made them part of our decision-making process. And so because they were brought on from life experience, we can totally, maybe not completely remove them, but we can temper them. We can turn down the volume on them so that more of our authentic selves comes out. So this is absolutely my favorite thing to help people do. Identify and just circumvent those negative voices so that you can, among other things, get rid of the meaningless, joyless activities and replace them with stuff that really lights you up. And that could be anything. It could be work related, it could be family related, it could be mountain biking. I can teach you if you want. And you might even be able to simply do less. Maybe you're not like me and you don't like being busy and you want to create more space in your life. You can totally do that. You don't have to replace meaningless things with meaningful things, you can simply have less things. And that's just a matter of being honest with yourself, owning what you really want, and then making it happen. So own the conversation that's happening in your mind and be ruthless with your time. That's what I got.
I
That's a
love
mic
it.
drop.
Oh my God.
All right. Yay.
Yeah, that was so good and so full of nuggets. I love the whole idea of just being aware of where we are. And that committee that is in there was built a long time ago to handle different things.
Mm.
It's okay to just say thank you and I don't need you now. I'm ready to do the next thing. So I love it. That is so good. So many great nuggets. And I'm still not sure I'm ready to do mountain biking. I live in the mountains in Colorado, and those trails, when I see people do that, I'm like, you can't be thinking of anything else because scary, scary.
You're right. You can't. You actually can't. And that is part of the beauty of it, right? You've got to be so focused on the current moment. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.